Hello guys, so you've been asking me questions in the comment section below, and I have been actually piling these questions. I have like around 7 of them. So in this video guys, I am going to answer all your questions that you've been asking me. Yes, so feel free to ask me any question that you feel you want. Yes, you have any question that has been disturbing you, fill out. This channel is here to answer all your questions. So I decided that Saturday should be our question and answer. Yes, because Sunday I'll be resting. I will not upload any video. Yes, so it will be a day for me to rest, to go to church and pray. So Saturday is our question and answer, and this is the day, guys. I have like 7 of them, so I'm going to answer all your questions. So if you have any question, just put in any video that I upload. I will be answering them fill out over the weekend. So let's go to our question number 1. Someone asked, how do you know that the eggs are fully fertilized? Yes, when it comes to our local eggs, how do we really know that our eggs are fertilized before we take them to hatchery? Now, to identify fertilized eggs, it is very simple and easy. It is very simple and easy. How do we know that these eggs are really fertilized or they are not fertilized? It is very simple. Just get a candle, any oba bulb, whatever. If you don't have a candle, you can use electric bulb. And whenever you get this electric bulb, let's say this is our bulb. This is our bulb or lamp, whatever. This is a bulb. Now just bring your egg here and you put it under the electric bulb. So whenever you put this egg under the electric bulb, that means whenever, if you see that this egg inside, it has embryo, you will see yolk. And whenever you see this yolk, that means the egg, if it is fertilized, it will be very dark, and you will see veins across, this egg. You will see a lot of veins through this yolk. Veins like spider web. You will see them. That means this egg is fertilized because it has, these veins through. That means the chick is inside, it's developing through these veins. So that is a fertilized egg. But if you take this egg into that light and you will see that the egg is really bright, it has nothing, nothing compared to veins, whatever. You will see that it is very, light. That egg is not fertilized. So that is how we know that these eggs are really fertilized, and that process is called candling. So it is very important always to first do what we call candling before you take your eggs to the hatchery, because if you did not do candling through that light, you check through the light, that means you will take unfertilized eggs and they will not hatch. So that is question answered. Another question, someone asked, what type of feeders do you advise us to use and size of drinkers? Yes, I think this question came from the previous video which I made about the requirements that you need before you start up your poultry farm, and I talked about feeders, drinkers, all of those stuff. So she asked me, what type of feeders do you advise us to use and size of drinkers? I always advise people to use a drinker which has 10 liters. Yes, this is the best feeder you can drinker you can use, the one of 10 liters. And also whenever you are buying these drinkers, make sure that these drinkers can work in brooder, and at the same time they can work at the maturity stage. Because what most farmers do, they will buy separate drinkers, the one which they use at chick stage, and also the one that they use at the adult stage. But there are those drinkers which can serve both. They can be used in the chick stage, and they can also be used during growers and layers mash or layers stage. So make sure that you buy drinkers which are in 10 liters. I think these drinkers cost around 30K. Yes, depending if they are semi-automatic. But if they are automatic, they will be around 60,000 per drinker. So that is the drinker that I recommend, the one of 10 liters. Because if you buy a drinker that is below 10, that is maybe 5 liters, few liters, that means every time you will be going into the poultry house to change water. And that one is not safe for our biosecurity. Because in biosecurity, we don't want to be always entering into the poultry unit. Yes, so you want to put the water which can last at least, which can last for a half of the day. Maybe you can change one time in a day, 2 times at least. But if you put like 5 liters, you will always be changing this water. After an hour, you have to be feeding in, and we don't want that. And also, when it comes to feeders, I always tell people to buy a feeder which has 10 kilograms, which can accommodate 10 kilogram feeds. Yes, they are there. They can accommodate 10 kilogram feeds. So do not buy these small feeders. And also, in other scenarios, people buy these kind of feeders, which are like this. They are in wooden form, you know, which are they are in wooden form like this. So I'll put a picture there, you will see. So those ones, they are not good. To me, they are not good. But if you're a beginner, it's okay. But these feeders are not good. Why? Because they, you will waste a lot of feeds through these feeders. Remember, these birds, they jump on these feeders and they poop inside the feeds. And whenever they poop inside, that means they will not eat that feeds. Yes, whenever they poop inside, they will not eat that feed. And all that feed will be going into spillage or wastage. So it is always very good to buy expensive feeders because they will save you in the long run. They will save you the feeds in the long run. Yes, you want to save by buying cheap feeders, but again, you are going to lose a lot of money in just spoiled feeds. So you better invest at once than losing, because if you count all that feeds that you lose, and you count it at the end of the day, at the end of the year, you will see that you are losing a lot of money. So make sure that whenever these spoiled feeds, make sure that you weigh them and write it down. Then at the end of the year, just count them and calculate and see the amount of money that you've lost just because you have poor feeders. Also, another question number 3. You did not tell us how many brooding pots needed. Yes, I think she got this question when I said that every drinker just count 50 birds and every feeder just count 30 birds when I gave you a demonstration. Also, when it comes to brooding pots, because these are our brooding pots. These are our brooding pots. Now, these brooding pots, we count every pot, we count 100 birds. Yes, every pot broods 100 pots. If you have 500 birds, that means you will need 5 pots because every pot will count 100 birds. If you have 1,000 birds, you will need 10 pots. So just know that each pot brood 100 birds. If you have 100 birds, you just need 1 pot. As simple as that. All of the 100 birds will be brooded by 1 pot. Another question is question number 4. Is it okay to have layers and locals on same structure, up and down? So, for example, you have a stored structure. Yes, the one which has up and down, like this. This is the lower side, this is the upper. So she's asking, is it okay if I have layers down and locals up? Now, when it comes to this one, is very okay. You can have it because I have seen many people have it. They have it. But as I told you, that biosecurity is really important. And when it comes to biosecurity, we don't know how you are going to maintain this biosecurity. But if you can really manage the biosecurity, it has no problem. But in most cases, you will find that most farmers don't really know the proper management, and it will be very difficult for you to manage these birds because you will be going through these structures at once. You'll find that your workers will be in layers and they will go in locals. Remember, if these birds, local chicken, if they have diseases, these birds are disease resistant in first place. They are resistant. How about layers? Not much resistant to diseases. So just look at a scenario. In case your local chicken have Newcastle, and your workers will be going into locals and at the same time going in layers. What does that mean? That means they will bring these viruses from the local to the layers. Because these locals they are really disease resistant. They may have the disease and you don't see the signs, yet the disease is there. So that means you'll be spreading, you'll be spreading these diseases when you don't know, and you will see that you have an outbreak on your farm, and all your layers will die. So proper biosecurity is number one point. So I don't actually encourage people, especially beginners, to have different breeds on one structure, even if it's stored structure. No, just have one breed on that structure. If it's layers, let it be layers down and up. If it's broilers, let it be separate, separate structure, because you can divide your farm into paddocks. Maybe, let's say, this is our farm. This is our farm. You can separate it into paddocks, like this, paddocks. Here you can have local, here you can have broilers, here you can have layers, here you can have any other breed that you really want. You see? You just separate and you have different workers. Make sure that workers who work in local chicken do not go in broilers. The one who work in broilers don't go in local. The one who work in layers do not cross to go to broilers or locals. That way you can manage proper biosecurity. But you cannot manage biosecurity when you have, when you are on the same structure and you have same workers. Remember, you are not going to be on the farm all the time. There are times when you'll be away from the farm and you don't know what will your workers do. So proper biosecurity will not be maintained, I assure you that. Unless it is you who is going to work in these farms alone. But of course that is totally impossible. You will need labor. So do not actually do that, because it will spread diseases to you and you will not like it. You make a lot of losses. These layers or broilers, they are not that resistant to diseases. Yes, though you can give them natural remedies to boost on their immunity, but still they can fall sick. Yes. Another question, I think I have answered that very well. I don't know, but I think so. So I told you that make sure you have one breed in one structure so that you can avoid the spread of diseases from one breed to another. So that is done. Question number 4. Question number 5. Can I use organic remedies when dried and smashed? Yes, you can use them when they are dried and smashed. But what is most important, we always tell you to use these herbal remedies when they are really low. When they are low flesh. Why? Because we don't know. For example, if you are buying maybe dried one, we don't know how they dried that, how they dried that natural remedy. We don't know. Because in most cases, you find most people, they add in other things just to make just to have quantity of it. You find that most these people who sell these remedies, they add in other additives which we don't actually want. Artificial additives to make sure that they have plenty or to increase on their quantity. And we don't want that. So we don't know what they really added into that. But if it's you and you are the one who is going to dry it by yourself, that one is okay. I support it. But if you are buying it from the market when it's already smashed and dried, I don't encourage you. Why? Because you don't know what they really added into that remedy. Yes. And also we don't know how they really dried it. Remember, these natural remedies, they are not supposed to be dried in direct sunlight. Yes, because these nutrients that we really need, the vitamins that are in these, natural remedies, they will be taken away by, by radiation. These sun rays, whenever the sun rays hit these natural remedies, they take away the nutrients that we need. They take away the chlorophyll, that forms the taxophil, which gives us the yellow pigment in our eggs. All those vitamins are being taken by the sun. So these natural remedies are not supposed to be dried direct, in the sunlight. They are just they have to be put inside a loom to dry inside the loom. Ziwatokeromo zikaliromo, but not in direct sunlight. That's why even this silage, you know, the silage that they make for animals, cows, whatever, what we call silage, silage and hay. So hay is dry grass, dry grass. But this grass is not the one which is dried in the sun. No, because if you dry this grass in the sun, that means all the nutrients that we need is taken away by the sun. The sun consumes all those nutrients that we need in our grass. That's why this hay is dried inside the storage room, not outside in direct sunlight. You know that, like this of Super Napier, you know, the Bisagazi, you know, Rhodes grass, that one. So they are not supposed to be dried in the sun. Why? Because the sun takes away all the nutrients that we need in that grass. So we have to dry it inside the house. Yes, same as these natural remedies, they are supposed to be dried inside the house or in the shade, so that direct sunlight does not take away our ingredients that we need in that, you know, remedy. Point number or question number 6. What causes white droppings? White droppings in our chicken. White droppings. Now, this white droppings is, we call it, you know, white diarrhea. Chidukano, diarrhea. 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 So what is the cause of white droppings? This one is, in most cases, it is caused by Salmonella bacteria. Salmonella. Salmonella bacteria. So, this Salmonella bacteria, what is the cause of Salmonella bacteria in our birds? Salmonella bacteria actually affects more so these younger chicks. Why? Because their immunity is not high. Yes, they don't have that good immunity. They are still baby chicks. They are still developing their tissues. They are still developing their systems. So they are not that resistant to diseases. So you'll find that they have, most of them will develop diarrhea, the white droppings. Why? This Salmonella bacteria, in most cases, is caused due to, you know, their poop, the exact poop. Because remember, these birds are in deep litter. Deep litter. That's why deep litter is not good for commercial. Yes. Deep litter. Why? Because these birds will feed on their poop. This one has pooped, so they will come and feed on that poop. Especially if the hygiene is not good, you don't have good management on your farm. So these birds will eat their poop, and whenever they eat, they will eat this Salmonella bacteria. If through those poop, other birds, you know, from other birds. So whenever they eat this poop, they develop Salmonella bacteria inside their intestines. And whenever they eat these bacteria, so they will get what we call diarrhea, white diarrhea. So you will see that white diarrhea. So how can we treat this Salmonella? First and foremost, make sure that hygiene is number one on your farm. Hygiene is important. Make sure that you clean your poultry house. If it's a brooder, make sure that you change everything. Make sure that you have good litter down. Make sure you don't have water spillage, you know, spilling on the litter, because it also gives room to Salmonella to develop. Make sure that you clean the drinkers every day. Most people don't clean these drinkers every day. Yes, they can clean it once in a week. So it gives room to Salmonella, you know, to mature, to incubate, and become too much in our poultry house. And also, how you can also treat this Salmonella. So those people who use chemical medicine, if you want to use chemical medicine, they use antibiotics. You know, these, remember antibiotics, antibiotics in most cases are used to treat bacterial diseases, most bacterial diseases. But what most farmers do, they give antibiotics to birds which are suffering from viral diseases. That is very, very, you know, very risky. If you give antibiotics to birds suffering from viral diseases, what are viral diseases? The birds which has no cure chemically, which cannot be cured chemically. For example, Newcastle disease, fall, fall typhoid, all those viral diseases in our birds, gumboro, whatever. So if you have these outbreaks, the viral outbreaks, don't give them antibiotics. You will kill all of them in just seconds if you try to give them antibiotics, because these antibiotics, They are meant for bacterial infections in our farm. So you can give them antibiotics if you have white droppings, because this is a bacterial infection. Also, you can give them antidiarrheal, antidiarrheal cyprovit, T. So just go to any vet clinic and tell them the signs and symptoms. So they will give you this chemical medicine, antibacterial cyprovit. It is what they usually give for these, white droppings or diarrhea or salmonella infections. Also, if you are deep in village or if you are an organic farmer, we also recommend for you to use charcoal. Charcoal is very important. This charcoal treats coccidiosis. It treats this, diarrhea. If you give them charcoal in their drinking water, just 3 to 5 days, they will be very fine, live and kicking. Charcoal, as simple as that. Charcoal. So charcoal is very important on our farms. Let's go to another question. Question 7. Is there a certain number of chicks to begin with as a beginner? Is there a certain number of chicks to begin with as a beginner? Now, this question is very, it's not direct, because it depends on what you really want. As I told you, that before we start up our poultry business, we have to make what we call business plan. Business plan. In business plan, you will know we have what we call financial projection. Yes, financial projection. Now, in financial projection, we come to know the income we have or capital that the capital we have, capital. That's why we make business plan, to know the exact capital that we have. After knowing the capital we have, it is the one that is going to determine the rate at which we are going to start our farm on. For example, if I have the money for 500 birds, let's say my capital is for 500 birds, but I want 5,000 birds. So what should I do? Should I leave it or no? No, you just have to start small. Start where you are and what you have, and make a business plan indicating your growth. How are you going to grow your farm to the desired capacity that you really want? So now our capital that we have is for 500, let's say. So is there a certain number of chicks to begin with? If I have 500 in cash for 500 birds, what will I do as a beginner? I told you that divide your money into 2 portions. Why? Because you are capable of making mistakes as a beginner. Do not put all your eggs in one basket. Remember that. If you have money for 500, I encourage you to divide this money into 2 portions. Bring 250 birds at first. For demonstration, this one will be a demonstration for you. Why? Because you will make mistakes on the first flock. Always, you make mistakes on the first flock. So use it as a demonstration for you to get the experience, because you want to use it as an experiment to learn from it. Yeah, even if here we lose maybe 100 because of our mistakes, we did not do biosecurity, we are just beginners, we made a lot of mistakes, and we lose like 100, and we remain with 150. That is okay. That means you have learned, or you have learned, and you will never do these mistakes again. We all learn by mistakes. Do not fear to make mistakes in life. Most people fail simply because they fear making mistakes. And whenever you fear making mistakes, you will never learn in life. That is it. You will never learn. So you make mistakes and you remain maybe with 150. That is good, and it's a good start for you. So that means if you manage to raise 150, next time after 2 months, because once these birds reach 2 months, they have stabilized. At maturity, they will not be that difficult for you. The most crucial stage is the brooder, or in brooder. So whenever you remain with 150, you have stabilized and you've learned. So there, go and bring another 250, the remaining balance, 250. There you have learned. You've separated your flock into 2. your money into two, so that whenever if you lose the first one, since you're a beginner, you will still remain with another backup plan. But most people are, you are hidden and you run out of business because you've put all your eggs in one basket. You've put all your money into something that you are just a beginner. Even if it's any other business, start small. Even if you have the whole money, first gather the information that you need, the knowledge, and apply that knowledge into practical. But don't put all your money at once. Just put a little bit of it so that you can learn from it. Learn from the mistakes. Always make sure that you learn from the mistakes and never do that mistakes again. Never repeat the mistakes. If you repeat the mistakes over and over, you become a moron or a vegetable. That means you don't have brain. So make sure you learn from your mistakes. So guys, that is what I have for you today. If you have money for 5,000 birds at once, divide it into 3. You can divide it into 3. First bring 1,000 and learn from 1,000. You remain with your money for 4,000 aside. When you learn from 1,000, even if you lose all the 1,000 and you bring another 2,000 on your next flock, 2,000, again, maybe you make another mistakes and you remain with 1,000. It's okay. By the next time or the next flock, the third flock, there you will be an expert and you can bring another 3,000. And here you will be an expert and your farm will boom and it will boost within a shortest period of time. But if you bring all your 5,000 at once, chances are very high that you are going to lose all of them at once. And we don't want you to lose. So guys, that is our questions and the answers for today. Let me see you in my next video. Please ask as much as you want. Feel free to ask any question. I am here and I will answer all your questions with immediate effect on Saturday. Every Saturday I'll be answering your questions. See you.